Tonight, Prince Harry and wife Meghan pursued by paparazzi. Conflicting accounts of what happened late last night in the busy streets of New York. Was it a near catastrophic car chase for more than 2 hours, as a spokesperson for Harry claims, or what the police called a challenging trip home, as photographers pursued them with no reported collisions or injuries? We talked to the cab driver who drove them. An Idaho grand jury indicts Bryan Kohberger, accused of killing 4 college students. The new details just revealed. Is a federal court set to restrict access to a widely used abortion pill? The battle bound for the Supreme Court as North Carolina enacts a restrictive abortion law. President Biden heads overseas while striking an optimistic tone that the country will never default as negotiators race to reach a debt limit deal. A former Green Beret killed in Ukraine when he told NBC News about why he decided to join the fight. The teenager missing for 6 years finally found after a TV show and a tip. How thieves are getting into your iPhone and stealing everything, the threat, and how to protect your data. The first state in the country to ban TikTok, but will it hold? And the Titanic as we've never seen it. Spectacular new images that may shed light on why it sank.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening and welcome. What happened on the streets of New York City last night involving one of the world's most famous couples was either a near catastrophic car chase, as their spokesman says, or a ride that law enforcement sources say was simply a bit chaotic. That spokesman for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry and Meghan, describing a dangerous 2-hour-long chase pursued by highly aggressive paparazzi, resulting in multiple near collisions. The episode rekindling grim memories of the wild pursuit that led to the death of Harry's mother, Princess Diana, in a Paris highway tunnel nearly 26 years ago. But tonight in New York, officials are describing what happened to Harry and Meghan as something less harrowing than reported. And that's where we start tonight with Gabe Gutierrez.
Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle seen here leaving a charity event in New York. And tonight there appear to be differing accounts about what happened next. A spokesperson for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex admonishing photographers for a relentless pursuit that lasted 2 hours and resulted in multiple near collisions involving other drivers on the road, pedestrians, and 2 NYPD officers. Adding, the near catastrophic car chase came at the hands of a ring of highly aggressive paparazzi.
The briefing I received, 2 of our officers could have been injured. I thought that was a bit reckless and irresponsible.
Though tonight, at least 3 law enforcement sources tell NBC News the couple was followed, not chased, and that the incident was a bit chaotic, not near catastrophic.
I would find it hard to believe that there was a 2-hour high-speed chase.
In a written statement, the NYPD says numerous photographers made the couple's transport challenging, but there were no reported collisions, injuries, or arrests. Harry and Meghan had private security as they left this venue, and 2 law enforcement sources tell NBC News that they wanted to return to Manhattan's Upper East Side, where they were staying with a friend, and did not want the paparazzi to follow. So the law enforcement sources say the couple was driven up and down Manhattan for more than an hour with a police escort. Then the pair was taken to this police precinct where a taxi picked them up. Would you describe it as chaotic?
Yeah, chaotic. You could say chaotic. Yeah. With me, I don't know what happened previous in the day, right? With me, it was chaotic, but not crazy, right?
Do you think the paparazzi went too far?
I don't know. When we were there, they kept their distance when they were following us in my cab.
Sonny Singh told us he's the taxi driver who picked up the couple, but he says they drove around for only 10 minutes before the street was blocked by a garbage truck.
People just came out of nowhere with cameras and started snapping pictures.
Did they seem worried?
They seem worried. They seem worried and nervous as well.
He then says he dropped them back off at the police precinct, where a different car eventually took them home.
All right, Gabe joins us from outside that police precinct. Gabe, was there any video of the pursuit?
Well, Lester, a source close to Harry and Meghan says that there is security video that captured the encounter, but it has not yet been publicly released, Lester.
All right, Gabe, thanks. Let me turn now to Keir Simmons in London. And Keir, a lot of people immediately thought about Princess Diana when they heard about this.
And you know, Lester, inevitably that is one of the first things that Prince Harry will have thought of when this happened, that terrible night when he lost his mum. Listen, there are parallels. Princess Diana was trying to escape the paparazzi just like Harry and Meghan this week. Princess Diana had lost her royal protection. Prince Harry no longer has royal protection. But there's also, Lester, important context here too. Prince Harry is fighting a legal battle with the British press. This isn't just about the past for him. This is about the future. He seems determined to keep fighting, even to change the media. But Lester, there are those who question whether he can win that fight.
All right, Keir Simmons in London, thank you. New developments this evening in the brutal killings of those 4 University of Idaho students. The suspect has been indicted, and as Aaron McLaughlin reports, we will see him in court soon.
Tonight in Moscow, Idaho, Bryan Kohberger, the man charged with stabbing 4 college students to death, now indicted by a grand jury. The indictment includes 4 counts of murder in the first degree and 1 count of burglary. If found guilty, he could be sentenced to death. Kohberger has yet to enter a plea, but his previous attorney said he believes he'll be exonerated. The indictment follows his December arrest at his family home in Pennsylvania. More than 45 days after Maddie Mogen, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were found brutally murdered in this college house. According to court documents, Kohberger's DNA was found on a knife sheath at the crime scene, and his white Hyundai Elantra seen driving here during a routine traffic stop was also allegedly caught on camera in the area the night of the killings. One of 2 surviving roommates telling police she saw a male figure with bushy eyebrows, a mask, and black clothing in the home that night.
So this grand jury indictment simplifies the process for the surviving witnesses.
Absolutely, because they don't have to testify in front of Kohberger during this preliminary proceeding.
News of the indictment is the latest twist in a grisly case that's left a small university community heartbroken. Last weekend, Kaylee and Maddie both received posthumous degrees. Kohberger will be arraigned on Monday. Legal experts say once he enters a plea, the trial must begin within 6 months unless he waives his right to a speedy trial. Lester.
Aaron, thank you. Now to the battle over abortion. A federal appeals court hearing arguments on limiting access nationwide to a widely used abortion pill. A fight ultimately heading to the Supreme Court, while some states restrict abortion further. Here's Laura Jarrett.
Tonight, the most commonly used abortion pill still on the market, but its legal future uncertain. A federal appeals court appearing deeply skeptical today of arguments from the Biden administration and pill manufacturer as they try to keep mifepristone available.
I don't understand this statement. The FDA can do no wrong. We are allowed to look at the FDA just like we're allowed to look at any agency.
The 3-judge panel must decide what to do with that controversial decision out of Texas last month, which invalidated the FDA's longtime approval of the drug. One judge hearing the case appointed by George W. Bush, the other 2 by Donald Trump. All have a history of supporting abortion restrictions. Judge James Ho calling abortion a moral tragedy in a 2018 case. The stakes of what happens to a pill women can currently get in the mail even higher now with new abortion restrictions emerging at the state level.
We needed to take action to protect the unborn.
Overnight in North Carolina, a GOP supermajority banned most abortions after 12 weeks with few exceptions, overriding the governor's veto.
The law is incredibly arbitrary, and it was crafted by people who are not physicians. It's really important to note that when there's a list of exceptions, someone is always left out.
North Carolina had been an outlier among a sea of states that restricted access after the Supreme Court decided women don't have a constitutional right to an abortion.
Every pregnancy threatens the life of mothers.
In neighboring South Carolina, a 6-week ban, like Florida's, on the horizon.
So, Laura, help me understand where we are. It's for the abortion pill. The justices agreed last month to keep it on the market during the appeal process.
That's exactly right, Lester. And there's no deadline for this appeals court to rule on mifepristone. But once it makes a decision, the case is inevitably headed back to the Supreme Court for a final say.
All right, Laura Jarrett, thanks.
Sure.
President Biden is heading to Asia tonight for the G7 summit as the U.S. inches closer to a critical default deadline. Kristen Welker is in Hiroshima. Kristen, the president with a clear message before leaving today.
Lester, that's right. President Biden projecting optimism with just 15 days to reach a deal to raise the debt limit or risk economic calamity. While still in Washington, the president said he's confident the country won't default, calling a meeting with top congressional leaders this week productive. The president has cut short part of this critical diplomatic trip to deal with the crisis. But despite that, Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy blasting Mr. Biden this afternoon for going overseas at all before a deal is done. Lester.
Kristen Welker, thank you. Breaking news from Ukraine tonight. Another American volunteer, a former Green Beret, has been killed in battle there. Molly Hunter has more on his decision to fight as new images show the immense toll of war in the East.
Tonight, as this grinding war continues to rob young Ukrainian lives on the battlefield, the family of American volunteer soldier Nicholas Mamer telling NBC News he was killed on Ukraine's front lines. The 45-year-old Idaho native, now one of at least 10 Americans killed since the war started. He arrived on his own to join the fight in May 2022, and months before his death, he spoke to NBC's Raf Sanchez, protecting his identity, going by the name Simo, the 20-year U.S. Army veteran training volunteer soldiers outside of Kyiv.
I had that strong internal debate on whether I should, what I could contribute, should I accept the risk? And ultimately I decided that it was worth it to help Ukraine.
And worth the risk.
Have you been to the East?
I signed up knowing that,
right,
and with the statement that I was willing to fight.
Ukraine says they now have the momentum in Bakhmut, fighting hard for what little remains. Today, new satellite imagery appears to show the devastating toll from May 2022 to the charred earth of this month.
Tonight, Russia is claiming they destroyed launchers, part of U.S.-made Patriot air defense systems in that massive attack yesterday. Well, tonight, 2 U.S. officials telling NBC News a Patriot system incurred damage but is fully operational. Lester.
Molly Hunter, thank you. In 60 seconds, a mystery solved. A girl missing for 6 years found. The new details about the tip that led to her discovery, all after a TV show about the case. Stay with us. We have new details of the shocking case of a missing girl finally found alive after 6 years, thanks to a tip from a teen who saw the girl's story on a true crime show. Maggie Vespa reports.
Hi, this is Kayla here. Tonight, new details in the crucial tip that brought Kayla Unbehan home 6 years after police say her mother, who did not have legal custody, kidnapped her. Investigators in North Carolina now say a teen girl working at an Asheville clothing store Saturday spotted Kayla and recognized the now 15-year-old.
The employee of the store had a personal connection through their childhood.
The tipster also crediting the hit show Unsolved Mysteries, which featured Kayla's case last fall.
The media attention that this case has received over the years, up to and including the Netflix documentary, most likely heightened her awareness.
Kayla and her mom, police say, initially giving officers fake names and birthdays. Kayla seeming calm.
She looked relatively healthy. Didn't appear to be any type of physical trauma.
Police soon uncovered the pair's true identities. Tonight, they say Kayla is back home in Illinois. Her mother, Heather Unbehan, charged with kidnapping. The remarkable homecoming following years of pleas from Kayla's dad, Ryan Iskirka, on multiple true crime shows.
My daughter was gone and I knew it.
Tonight, Iskirka writing in a statement, "I'm overjoyed that Kayla is home safe," adding, "We ask for privacy as we get to know each other again and navigate this new beginning."
Heather Unbehan is out on $25,000 bond. Her attorney declined to comment. Lester.
Maggie Vespa, thank you. Still ahead, the first state to ban TikTok, but will it hold? Plus a new warning, thieves stealing iPhones, passcodes, and even locking you out of all your data. How to protect yourself, next. Montana today became the first state to ban TikTok. The governor signing a bill that will bar the Chinese-owned video app from operating in the state because of privacy and security concerns. It will also prohibit mobile app stores like Apple and Google from offering TikTok in the state. A challenge on First Amendment grounds is expected as Congress debates limiting TikTok. Turning now to the important warning, thieves are stealing iPhones and passwords to hijack all your personal information. Stephanie Goss explains how they're doing it and how to protect yourself.
Just behind the locked screen of an iPhone, a goldmine of money, memories, and connections. And thieves have found a way in.
They're stealing your passcode.
It's so sinister.
It's so sinister, but also so simple.
So they go to places where people are vulnerable.
Drunk. People are vulnerable. They're drunk. They're having a good time.
Joanna Stern covers tech for the Wall Street Journal. She's done a series of reports exposing a new crime wave. Phones being ripped off at bars, leading to tens of thousands of dollars stolen and Apple accounts locked.
I was blown away by how many people I heard from that had been to different cities across the U.S.
NBC's digital team also helped uncover a ring of thieves allegedly targeting gay bars in Manhattan. Victims are drugged, their phones stolen. 2 men, John Umberger and Julio Ramirez, overdosed and died. 3 suspects are charged with murder. Taylor Ashe says he too was drugged and a victim of theft, waking up after a night out and realizing his phone was gone.
I immediately got up, went to check my computer to see what was going on, had about 20 to 25 fraud alert emails.
He says the thieves changed his Apple ID password, locked him out, and then went on a shopping spree.
They added my credit cards to Apple Pay, which I had not previously used, and then they went around New York City using my phone as a credit card.
Ashe would get roughly $15,000 back, but what he couldn't get restored was his Apple account.
Hours of conversations with Apple support staff. I never received my information back.
We're talking about personal photos, contacts?
All the above.
The key is getting the passcode.
How quickly can you change my Apple ID?
All right, so I'm going to tap here at the top. This is your iCloud or Apple ID area. I'm going to password and security. I'm going to change password. I'm going to put in your passcode. It's in, is that right?
And you're there.
And I'm there.
It took her 18 seconds, but there's more.
These thieves on the streets know how to enable something that's a pretty hidden setting. It's called this recovery key.
The recovery key is supposed to add another layer of protection.
The problem is that the thieves have the recovery key. Once you've changed someone's Apple ID password and turned on this recovery key, it's basically game over for the person whose account that is.
In a statement, Apple says, "We take all attacks on our users very seriously, no matter how rare. We work tirelessly every day to protect our users' accounts and data, and are always investigating additional protections. There are some steps to take. Make the passcode on the iPhone stronger, like using 6 digits instead of 4.
You can also go here to passcode options and do a custom alphanumeric code.
Another option is going to screen time, then content and privacy restrictions, where there are several places you can add a 4-digit code that will block access. The changes will make the phone less convenient.
I feel like it's Fort Knox on my phone now.
But with life's most important information in the palm of your hand, the hassle may be worth it. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, New York.
When we come back, the astonishing new images of the Titanic like you've never seen it before. Finally, astonishing new 3D images of the Titanic, providing the most captivating view yet of the shipwreck. Here's Tom Costello.
The images are breathtaking in their clarity and detail. The Titanic broken into 1,200 feet below the North Atlantic. Too big for a single photo. The new 3D scan, combining 700,000 images, reveals the full scale of the disaster. The bow covered in rust, its anchor still attached. The boiler room where workers shoveled coal to keep the lights on. The propeller, its serial number still legible. Scattered on the ocean floor, unopened champagne bottles, shoes, hats, and jewelry. 1,500 people died that day in 1912. Edith Hazeman was just 16, on board with her parents. We talked to her in 1996.
I never forget it. See all the dead bodies floating in the sea. It was terrible.
A deep-sea mapping company used submersibles to create this 360-degree view. Coming soon, a documentary looking at how an iceberg cut open a ship once branded unsinkable.
This makes the Titanic tragedy much more real.
There's no doubt about that. People around the world will be able to walk round the Titanic for themselves, and they'll be able to see the wreck. They'll be able to see the debris field. This is a history where we can live in the past.
A virtual view preserved forever. Tom Costello, NBC News, Washington.
The fascination continues. That's Nightly News for this Wednesday. Thank you for watching. I'm Lester Holt. Please take care of yourself and each other. Good night. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.